Shelly. Thank you everyone for joining and good afternoon. My name is Alyssa Unterborn for those who don't know me, and I'm the Solution Sales Executive here at Ingram Micro, and I'm responsible for all of our Lenovo IDG or Client Solutions business. Again, thank you for joining our October Lunch and Learn. We're going to be discussing all things AMD. As always, some housekeeping and some value adds that I wanted to go over and make sure you guys knew about. So don't forget about that $25 Grubhub you guys have on your accounts today. If you registered prior, that should be in your account till 11:30 p.m. your time. Then be sure to click that word apply on that homepage. If you don't remember, you can click it on your checkout. Any questions or experiencing any issues, please reach out to us. As a valued partner, we want to make sure you are also utilizing the benefits of our Lenovo 360 Booster Program. So please make sure you're opting in and reaching out to your specialists on our Lenovo teams. And it's also not too late to sign up for our Lenovo 360 Better Together Yellowstone Reseller Contest. So this is going to run until March 31st, so Lenovo's year. So contact your Ingram Micro specialist to register today and enter for a chance to win a bucket list trip to Yellowstone next year. Additionally, we have a ton of product on hand. So we know things are in the past where we don't have stock or product on hand. We have a ton here at Ingram Micro. So please let us know any deals that you're looking to close for the remainder of the year. So our fiscal year. We're looking to help you guys close any deals, get that product shipped out to your customers for the end of Q4. Additionally, I wanted to highlight that we have thousands of ThinkVision 27-inch monitors on hand still. Those have those built-in docking stations. So any opportunities where you can switch out any back-ordered docks that you may have, definitely do that. We have a nice Ingram exclusive price drop on those as well. I also wanted to bring up some Q4 exclusive promos. So on top of all the stock and product that we have on hand, we have additionally discounted those units as well. So we have dropped prices anywhere from $50 to $100 on top seller products. That could be on desktops, Velocity, Workstation, and Premium, to name a few. We have a flyer that we'll be sending out. So take a look at those. They have those manufacturer part numbers on those. Know that we have stock of those, but these discounts are only while supplies last. So make sure you're closing those deals and getting those discounts. Also, we have our next Lunch and Learn. So our final Lunch and Learn for the remainder of 2022 on November 2nd. This is going to be with our Lenovo Smart Collaboration team. So make sure to join that. As like I said, this is going to be our last of 2022. So thank you to everyone who's joined throughout the year as well. The registration link will be dropped in the chat. And lastly, so we have our ISG Tech Talk Tuesday. That's going to be coming up on October 18th. That's going to be discussing all things edge and edge computing and AI. So if it makes sense for your business, register today. That link will also be dropped in the chat, and you will additionally get that $25 Grubhub for your lunch being on us as well. Thank you again for joining us all this month. That's all I had for today. If you are, just a quick reminder, if you are not on mute, please make sure you are, just for our speakers. And I will now pass it over to John from our AMD.
Thanks, Alyssa. Yeah, you should have told them you'll yank their Grubhub back.
Yeah, I'll take it right back.
Right? You know, it's like, come on now. Yeah. See, Morgan, I can tell he's got that beard going on. I mean, it's all good. And then Al, you caught my attention saying hello from Atlanta. Hello back. But that's, hey, the Buckhead Diner is still alive and well, I'm hoping. Make sure you hit that place up and have some of that amazing meatloaf they have, right? And if you haven't been to Atlanta, to the Buckhead Diner, y'all need to go, because if you're into great food and kind of an upscaled diner experience, Buckhead Diner is the place to go. No, I did not get paid to say that, nor am I an extra on Vikings. In case any of you have not, been aware of that, I just play a Viking in real life. I'm actually not one on TV. So that said, how's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Show of hands, the little clappy thingy, whatever. I mean, remember, if the camel is asking you what day it is, 1, there's no camels in your geographic area. 2, camels don't talk. So we got it all covered, right? All right, everybody's familiar with AMD. Everybody's selling AMD. It's a mixed bag, right? Heads kind of doing the nodding or the shaking or whatever. Who doesn't actually know who AMD is? This is going to be super good information. Even if you know what AMD is, hopefully this will still provide you some additional insights. the big thing to take away is that, AMD is the only mobile processor manufacturer that does two things. One, we don't sell mobile CPUs. Okay, fun fact, no mobile CPUs, we sell a mobile APU, advanced processing unit. Yeah, I know. See, Morgan's already looking at me like, dude, what the hell are you talking about, man? Come on, John. APU, advanced processing unit, because it has a CPU and a GPU in the same piece of silicon. So it's literally when it boots up, it takes some of that physical memory and assigns it as graphics memory. So it's like having a discrete graphics card in the laptop. So small things, thin and light laptop, it's integrated graphics. No, man, it actually has a GPU in it. So your customer is not sacrificing anything. They're going to be getting great performance, amazing battery life, and compared even to our last generation, and they get graphics performance. In fact, when you plug in that USB-C dock, you're going to be able to do up to 4K displays at 60 hertz. Think of all of that margin on all of those displays. Come on, that's worth a couple clappy clappies. And in case you had not seen the amazing Z16, isn't that beautiful? It is freaking amazing. Remember, freaking is a technical term. Not many engineers use it, but you can. I mean, look at that real estate. Ooh, that's there we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's an amazing machine. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So AMD Advanced Micro Devices, we're going to jump right into my 102 slides of PowerPoint death. Just kidding. Just kidding. I know there were folks getting ready to bounce out of the presentation, right? Jumping right off to it. All right, we play in commercial and consumer space. We make Chromebooks, amazing Chromebooks, plugging in that Ryzen technology, also in laptops, because hence we're talking about that, but also in desktops too, and especially on Lenovo side, got some amazing desktop options. M75Q and 75T, great areas in that mini and small form factor. And then in workstations, both mobile workstations as well as desktop workstations. In fact, the P620 from Lenovo featuring AMD's Threadripper processor has taken the market by storm, literally kicked everybody's booty last year, has continued to kick butt this year. So much so you've got other players out there that announced earlier this year they've got Threadripper in one of their new products as well. Everybody, this is you've probably seen everybody give you this slide, even if it's not me, a variation of this slide. Last 2.5 years, what have we learned? Productivity and collaboration is way up, right? I think there was a large kind of cross segment, cross industry. I think when the whole kind of COVID thing started, there was a lot of fear and uncertainty about what was going to happen. And I think that the kind of global workforce really stepped up and demonstrated that, what, it's going to take a lot more than that to not have us be productive and not have us be able to continue to grow our business and live our lives. And because of that, it was driven primarily through that collaboration and doing online collaboration. And another great reason why you need a GPU, right? Not only does Office increase that GPU utilization the last 10 years within that software, but just in collaboration, whether you're using, like we are, Microsoft Teams, whether you're using Zoom, Google Hangouts, even just consuming business content in an empirical way or a digital, some other digital format, chances are it's going to have some rich content in there, right? It's going to have animations, going to have other things that are going to play that all require what? Graphics. And by having that GPU in that solution, it's just going to be that much better and that much more of a rich collaborative experience. Don't say that one if you haven't had enough caffeine. The shift is here to stay. What a lot of folks are finding now, just in the last 6 months alone, is a lot of work can still get done, a lot of productivity. So kind of this hybrid model. So people are going to be working outside of the conventional four walls. Now, for those of us that have worked outside of the four walls for a lot of our careers, again, whether that be on the telecom side, the high tech side, the insurance selling side, that was not me, by the way. I was not the person knocking on your door or asking you about your extended warranty. But again, that idea where having that ability to step out to the coffee shop and still maintain connectivity, still be connecting, still being productive, super, super important. And then the other thing that unfortunately we learned is that security threats are continuing to rise. In fact, just during the pandemic, it was up over 600%. It says 600. I think depending upon which analysis you're looking at, you'll see some data out there saying over that. And not all of that can be, obviously attributed to the pretend Nigerian prince asking you to connect them to their millions of dollars that they're going to let you keep if you could just provide them your banking information. Obviously, a lot more things like Spectre 2, zombie load, things where they were taking exploits, a lot of ransomware and things like that, lead a lot of folks to be concerned. One of those things to also keep in mind, your customers, your IT departments that you're working with, whether they be CTOs, CIOs, or what have you, they have a strategy in protecting their asset, their network, right? That data center, that network. And to some degree, they also have a desire to protect the endpoint. And part of that will come up in a later slide is how AMD's offering and helping protect that endpoint is unmatched by the competition. The mobile Ryzen Pro 6000 is the current processor shipping in across all platforms, including Lenovo. Both the Z13 and Z16 have a Ryzen Pro processor in there. They've actually got some custom tweaks. In fact, a discrete GPU chipset added on. But if you're looking at L series, E series, T series, and even their mobile workstations of P series, they are all using the Ryzen Pro 6000 mobile processor. So it's giving them 8 high performance cores, and it's giving them that battery life that really was already great before. The 6000 has really stepped up and is continuing to do amazing things. And then you see that says built for professionals. You're going to see AMD Pro Technologies really addresses that. Now, I know some folks have pointed out, and I don't think any of you, I don't see a chat little bubble thing pop up. But we're talking about 8 high performance cores. I know the other guys, they're whichever lake it is, Pine Lake, Otter Lake, at Alder Lake, obviously just poking good fun, right? The challenges of what they've got, where they've got 8 cores or 10 cores, but it's kind of a mix of performance cores and efficiency cores. Don't confuse kind of that big little kind of model as being better or worse than our 8 high performance cores in a Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9 mobile processor. The reason that we call it out as 8 high performance cores is that our cores are able to spin up to a higher frequency. So doing more instructions per clock, doing a lot more workloads based upon demand of application, user interaction, things like that. When the demand is not as high, our processors dynamically spin down the frequency and can literally go down to a single core. And that's why a Ryzen 7 products, you see battery life being boasted at 20 hours or more on different platforms. So that's unheard of. Now, again, don't go running off and say, hey, AMD powered processors, it's 20, 24 hours of battery life. It's just like the last time that we went shopping for a cell phone, right? We read all the fine print, and something says, oh, it's 2 months of standby for your new mobile phone. Okay, we all know we've got social media running, we got God knows how many different apps running, we probably got our music playing, we got Bluetooth, we got Wi-Fi, we got screen brightness, and we probably got some audio or haptic feedback going on that device. All those things take up not only resources, but also battery. It doesn't mean that your theoretical maximum battery life isn't real. It's a great number to gauge, and it's a great comparison. But again, it's based upon what settings the user has implemented. By going with an AMD-based solution, that IT department, if they're going to say compare apples with apples, not using Apple as a joke or a but, no, and not an apple, but doing a comparison is really their configuration with their image, their application usage. They're going to see as much as 48% or more better battery performance out of an AMD powered device than out of the other guys. We take a quick look at the 6000 over the 5000, its predecessor. It's a very modest increase in processor performance overall. You do see at the top says Zen 3 Plus. If you hear Zen architecture is our new architecture, what we came out with in 2017. And it's basically how we redesigned how our processors function, which also, fun fact, made us far more resistant to some of these older modeled x86 exploits. Things, again, like I mentioned, Zombie Load, Spectre 2. Because we changed to created our Zen architecture, that's already gave us a kind of a leg up against that. So you see Zen Plus, Zen 2. Right now you're seeing Zen 3. Lisa Su just announced last month our Zen 4 with 5 nanometer process technology for our new Ryzen 7000. That's only on the consumer side, only on gaming and only on desktop. But obviously, you know what's coming down the pipe. The real improvement, again, I mentioned graphics before. Oh, here we go, graphics again. Our Vega chipset, we swapped out with our RDNA, our Radeon chipset. The Radeon chipset is really a lot more in alignment with our Pro graphics, not only from a pure graphical performance, but also in efficiency, which is also very, very important. We doubled our graphics performance. So again, we were already really good, being ranked as near kind of entry graphics card, and say gamers were looking at it for notebooks. By doubling that, that's really kind of stepped the bar up. So especially when you're looking at mobile workstations, Lenovo's P series, mobile workstations where they've got our APUs in there, you're getting some really amazing stuff. So CAD applications, other engineering applications, development applications have a real strong performance capability on those mobile notebooks. Here's a quick lineup. The 5000 series that you see is what you would see probably in the E series at Lenovo. Also maybe some of the L series. Those are the non-pro SKUs. And if you're familiar, if you folks are selling vPro to any of your customers, so opportunities where 200 units or more, there's an idea out there you're supposed to sell vPro because that's a commercial or corporate size opportunity. The reality is that AMD Pro Technologies offers all of the same feature sets that vPro does without paying a vPro adder. So there's no kind of added cost for your customer. It's across the entire stack of processors. It gives manageability, it gives that business ready, and it adds a level of security that the competition doesn't have. That's a very big deal. But now in some of those kind of entry-level SMB educational space where they don't need that pro capability, the non-pro SKUs are available in the 5000 and 6000. This is really focusing on the pro SKUs, both in the 5000 and 6000. You see those higher frequencies. On the right side, you kind of see the corresponding TDP or wattage for that. So thin and light, sitting down there at 15 watts, and then stepping up to higher performance, obviously being higher frequency at the Ryzen 9, Ryzen 7, and Ryzen 5 at 35 watts and 45 watts. So those types of machines are going to have a greater appeal for customers who've got engineering departments, accounting departments that need a lot more horsepower. Really, that 6000 series H is probably going to really be appealing to them. Taking a look at premium performance, kind of generational improvements, both on CPU and GPU. Again, because that is correct, an APU. Here's that generational improvement. You can see that 2x over our older Cezanne version is just a great story. Benchmarks, everybody loves benchmarks, but not really. I think benchmarks are a great tool. It's a great checkpoint for everybody to kind of keep in mind and use and collaborate with our customers on. The challenge with benchmarks is what? They're done in a lab, very controlled environment, generally aren't going to be using the same image and same application mix, and it's not going to be the same usage model as what your customers are. For the right opportunities, I think it's very imperative that we encourage resellers and our customers to actually test out, get a demo unit in their hands, and get their image loaded and get to testing. But from a performance overall, kind of, again, that checkpoint, these are some moderate improvements in comparisons to the 12th gen from Intel. I think it's also important to point out that while, you know, the performance numbers are interesting, you change up the suite, you change up the testing criteria. The other guys do it, a third party does it, we do it. Benchmarks, again, it's what are you trying to show? Are you trying to show, you know, memory utilization? You're trying to show processor utilization? It becomes a little bit more convoluted and not always well explained. And I think the most important thing, again, is for those customers to dog food it in their own environment. That's really how it breaks down. Performance leadership, I think we use looking at the Office suite and then doing a kind of what we call a geo-mean score and taking a look across all of it. This is actually just taking a quick look at, say, Procyon, PC Benchmark 10, both the regular benchmark and the extended benchmark, and PC Mark productivity. The reason for Office showing using Procyon is that is focused on a lot of single thread testing in that benchmark. And the reason the other ones are not showing the same as Procyon is it is truly focusing on using multi-thread, right? You're going to have more than one application open. You're going to have Word, you're going to have Excel, you're going to have Outlook, probably going to have a browser open with 10 to 24 tabs. Who knows? I think the record, found a customer that actually had 32 tabs open, 2 of them running some pretty high intense graphics, and they only had 8 gigs of memory on the device. That's why their machine was lagging, but I digress. Again, it's important to look at this. The other thing to take a look at is in that collaborative environment where we have multiple applications open and you're running a Teams experience, because none of us do that now. Nobody's got Outlook open and doing it, responding to an email instead of listening to John drone on about AMD. What? Never. But of course, even with all those things going on, still seen as 17% faster. Taking a quick look again at 15% increase in Office productivity. 15% is not huge, but yet by the same token, if we add in that security, you add in that additional battery life, 15% becomes more important because that's 15% over a longer period of time. I'm sorry? Okay, in a more secure environment. The other things that we've done, obviously, here is taking a look at that collaboration with energy. You want to have that have a green story that makes sense and easy to communicate, focusing on Energy Star efficiency, keeping in mind, because we're an ingredient inside a whole solution, we're very dependent upon what the OEM's doing. So if you take a look at the Z13 and Z16, what Lenovo's doing with that compostable packaging information and other elements that they've chosen to include, like vegan leather in that exterior form factor, just other ways of kind of amplifying and exemplifying, trying to take a greener take on technology. And then looking at more power efficiency. What I really want to jump to is, because I want to be sensitive to the time, 45% longer battery life in Teams, 29 hours up to for video playback. It's obviously not work related, most likely. Different increase in battery life. Pro technologies, pro security, pro manageability, pro business ready. Why is this important? We are the only manufacturer of a mobile processor, I mentioned this at the beginning, that has a secure core processor in the silicon itself. Why is that important? It creates a root of trust from the silicon layer to the memory, and you're able to encrypt the memory. Thereby, if God forbid a device is compromised, memory's frozen, and the bad actors, bad guys, gals are trying to steal passwords and other company information out of that suspended memory, it's encrypted and they can't get to it. Pro manageability, just like Intel vPro AMT, allows you to use autopilot or SCCM to manage good information to have. Pro security, I'm going to leave. We're going to kind of leave on this slide and see if there's any questions. But pro security, think of it like like layers of okay, hey, an onion, right? Like Shrek and Donkey on a whirlwind adventure. Everybody's seen Shrek. Come on, right? Right? I see smiles, even though I don't see smiles. I know you're smiling. I could feel the smiles. Shrek and Donkey on a whirlwind adventure. Shrek's talking about feelings. He's trying to make an example of onions. Donkey's talking about, well, cakes having layers. Shrek is adamant about onions. They talk about parfaits. The reality is that everybody in the IT space, whether they're talking about their infrastructure within inside their four walls or outside their four walls, they need to have layers of defense and layers of protection. There, they need to have that same thing on those mobile endpoints. So what does AMD give that the other guys don't in their solution? Our Zen 3 architecture brings AMD's Shadow Stack, very actively resistant to things like, again, Zombie Load, Spectre, Spectre 2. It has the AMD Secure Core processor that enables that memory guard. In that new processor, we have the ability, the customer has the ability to enable Microsoft Pluton security platform on those Lenovo platforms. We got memory guard. On top of that, you got Windows 11 security, followed with Windows 10 security, depending upon what your customer is using. And then you've obviously got the amazing suite that Lenovo brings on top of that. All of those things provide layers of protection that the customer needs to have in that IT environment. Now, any questions that I can answer? Morgan, I know you were smiling on the Shrek joke. Come on. Right, that was good, right? Okay. But anyone else? Looks like we got a bunch of folks that hopped in here. That's good. Questions about AMD processors, security?
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Is this deck available? Like this PowerPoint available? Because I know we kind of skipped a couple of slides, but is this available?
This is not, say, illegally blessed to disseminate. If there's specific information, I can probably find some PDFs that I have that are it's actually on AMD Arena or available for partner download. Absolutely. But like I take some of our decks and I tweak them to help tell the story. And then if legal actually looked at that, they're like, well, you can have that on your machine and you can share it, but you can't send that out, you know. And we don't want Halloween early, right? But yeah, if there's something specific, Morgan, send me an email and I'll certainly get that to Shelly and you. Shelly, if you want to share the AMD Arena info with the team, there's a ton of great infographics. And actually, Morgan, might be better is the infographics that are available on the AMD Arena actually go in and have more detail. So there's a whole thing on pro technologies. There's a whole thing on the battery life. There's a whole thing on performance. I think there's even some white papers out there that might be interesting to some of your customers or even just for you from an interest level. And then obviously any of you, not just Morgan because you've got a great haircut and a beard, but any of you have an opportunity where you want somebody there backing you up, talking about that AMD story. I'm here to support you folks, right? Let's go make money. Let's go help the customer. We're all going to be the customer's trusted technical advisor. At the end of the day, if buying the other guy's stuff is what the customer needs to do, I have no issues. Yes, I'm an AMD employee, and I would much rather the customer buy my stuff. But if it's not the right solution for the customer, I'm not going to sell them something that they really isn't the right thing. And I think that that's one thing that when you do that, we earn a lot of credibility with our customers. They're going to come back. They're going to work with us. They're going to buy, at least from you guys. They're going to buy the other stuff. They just, I'll just give them my sad puppy eyes, which never works, but it looks kind of cute in a weird cartoon sort of way. But what else? Anything else? Anyone? All right. Well, I think that was my allotted time. Shelly and team, if there's ever any questions, Alyssa, if there are any questions, no. please get that over to me and I'll get answers out.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, John. Thank you everyone for joining. We will send a post email. Let us know if there's anything that you have questions on. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Thank you.